Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about hormone replacement therapy, also known as HRT, and why it can be useful to balance your hormones during the perimenopause to menopause transition. I'm Claire Snowden-Darling. I'm the head of the College of Functional Wellness and I have over 15 years clinical experience specialising in women's health and hormones. Please don't forget to hit subscribe and like this video if you find it useful. Without further delay, let's get into the information. Let's first talk about what HRT is. So HRT is a way of replacing the hormones that are starting to deplete and fluctuate during perimenopause and through the menopause transition. Now, there are a lot of different types of HRT and women often don't know about them all or are very often confused about what's the right path to take. Women also often ask me if they need HRT. My response is, how bad are your symptoms? Because if you've sailed through menopause and you've got to your year with no bleed and you've had no symptoms, maybe just the odd hot flush, maybe you don't want HRT. You know, it's not essential. If, however, the other end of the spectrum is your symptoms are so bad you can't get out of bed, you can barely work, your anxiety is through the roof, you've piled on weight, you literally just feel like, you know, there is just no point in living, then there's help available. And some of the HRTs that are available could be really, really supportive. Now I want to explain why HRT can be beneficial during menopause and how the body uses it. So women often find that without having estrogen and progesterone in the right amounts as they go through that menopause transition, they get a lot of symptoms. There are technically around 34 signs of menopause. I mean, how many do we have to deal with? And that, you know, they can be all the big things that we know about, the change in periods, they can be the hot sweats, the vaginal dryness, the lack of libido, but there's a lot of really surprising signs too, like really itchy scalp or itchy skin. That's like a really, that's quite common actually. Putting on weight, I've mentioned brain fog. I mean, goodness, like the brain fog doesn't even sum it up. It's like, what memory? I used to have words, I can't remember anything, and just stopping mid-sentence, it's so frustrating. Unstable emotions, anxiety, I mean, literally 34 symptoms. HRT is a way of replacing the hormones that are depleting and all unstable so that those symptoms can go away. But the thing is, there is a variety of different HRT options, and some of them have had quite a lot of sort of negative press because there has been quite a lot of research that finds that there's increased links to things like breast cancer and stroke, which is terrifying. Part of the problem, one of the issues with menopause is that equally coming out the other end of it and not having those hormones is just as dangerous for women. So we're kind of between a rock and a hard place, but the only person who knows if HRT is the right path for you is you. This is why I like to teach people about the different options. So here are the options. The most commonly prescribed HRT are synthetic HRTs. So that's synthetic lab-made progesterones, estrogens, and testosterones. Now, those tend to come in the form of the pill, like a combined pill. They'll come in the form of patches, gels, things like the Mirena coil. All of these are synthetics. Now, I am not a fan of the synthetics. I go into great detail in lots and lots of places about how I am not a fan of the synthetics. In fact, the synthetic progesterone, I have real issues with. There's a lot of evidence that shows it's actually incredibly dangerous for women, and really, there really is no place, I don't believe, for synthetic progesterone. However, there are also natural body identical HRTs. And these are really fascinating when we start looking at them. They're suddenly developing quite a big following. So the body identical means that they're not synthetic, they are created in a lab because they're still like made, but the chemical compound looks exactly the same as our hormones. They're made from yams, and the body actually knows how to process them much better than something that's incredibly synthetic that doesn't look anything like our hormones. So we have two types. We have the body identical progesterone and the body identical estrogen. So in the UK, the body identical progesterone is called Utrogestan. There's also one called Cyclogest, I believe, and the body identical estrogen is called Estradot. There is a combined pill now called Bijuve as well. Now there's going to be loads of others, and in different countries they're all called different things. I'm really just giving you the names to highlight that these are the things that are around. So ultimately, why I really like the body identicals is because the research shows that they are much, much, much safer for women to use. In fact, there's almost no evidence, unless anyone can find it for me, and I'm open to hearing it, around the use of the body identicals implicated in things like breast cancers. The risk is so much lower. So we're mitigating the risk of not having the hormones, and we're also then not taking on the extra risk of having the synthetics. And they can be an absolute game changer for women. They work so much better with our bodies. Now, not everything's perfect, and the progesterone is actually made with peanut and soy. Women who are intolerant to those won't be able to get on with it. They're going to really struggle. They're going to get bloating. They're not going to feel very well on it because they're going to be sensitive to it. That's a downside. Also, because the capsule's quite hard, women who actually have underlying gut issues might not be able to absorb it very well. So this is where nothing is perfect, right? But they're a better option if you wanted to go a more natural route, but still be working with your GP and in line with the guidelines that are set out by our medical societies. So if you kind of go, oh yeah, I just don't want to go down any of those routes, I actually want to go as natural as humanly possible, then a way of replacing your estrogen with supplements would be using, eating a lot of soy products like tofu, supplementing with soy, and also something called maca powder. You want the gelatinized maca powder, which has got very, very strong estrogen mimicking compounds in it. So they're plant compounds, can be very, very powerful as an estrogen supplement. When you're looking at any supplements, please, please, please work with a practitioner who can assess your full health history and make sure that they're safe for you to use. If you want to replace progesterone naturally, then something called chaste tree or Vitex castus agnus. It is very, very old-fashioned, brilliant supplement way of bringing up your progesterone naturally. Again, work with a practitioner. So they're my bits of information about all the different versions of HRT, and hopefully you can find a pathway that feels right for you. And if you're sailing through and you are having no symptoms, I am super happy for you. I celebrate your menopause. Enjoy it. If you would like to hear more about HRT and female health, please check out the link in the description, which will take you to our full HRT talk, as well as our fully accredited courses that are training in all aspects of health and nutrition. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I will be back next week with more information about how you can take control of your health and help others do the same. Thank you for watching.